This is Ray Varner with Randolph-Macon College, and I'm in Front Royal, Virginia on August 8th, 2011 with the Living Legacies Oral History Program, and more specific, the Women of Randolph-Macon Oral History Program. And I'm here in the home of Westy Bachelor, class of 75, and also with me today is Sarah Hendricks from the Development Office. So hello, Westy.
Hello, Ray. Hello, Sarah. I'm so happy that you're here.
All right, thanks. The first question that I have is an easy one. So where did you grow up?
I grew up here in Front Royal, and it was wonderful, and I've gotten to travel and live in different places in the world, and I'm happy to be back in Front Royal.
Okay, so how did you first hear about Randolph-Macon?
I think I knew about it all my life. We have Randolph-Macon Academy here in Front Royal, and a fair amount of people have gone down there as students. They've gotten scholarships, athletic scholarships, and come back and taught here, either at Randolph-Macon Academy or at Warren County High School. My grandfather was a student there in 1915, and he stayed a year and a half. But he lived in Mary Branch dorm, the same dorm I lived in 1971 to 74. So I felt that was very interesting.
So
I was down there with friends from Front Royal also. So it's a popular school for Warren County residents.
Okay. Did you take a trip to campus?
I'm sure I did, but I really can't tell you anything about it. Interview, I guess, went well, and I was happy when the school announced it was going co-ed in probably the fall of '70, because I knew some people who were going there, and it was a proper distance from home. That I didn't want to be any farther away, but I wanted to be an hour and 45 minutes away. And so it was just a really good fit. So that's how, but I really don't remember touring the campus. I think I had done it with enough other people through the years and things.
So, so you mentioned that you got word that it was co-ed. So,
Well, my next door neighbor was down there. And my brother was there. I had been following it, but my brother was only there for one semester, 1 year, and he was only 1 year behind me. So he was a student down there when they announced they were going co-ed. So that's how I had seen the campus and was familiar with, had some familiarity with Randolph-Macon.
So you learned about Randolph-Macon going co-ed before you started thinking about other schools, or did you think about other schools?
I had been thinking about other schools and touring those in my junior year. And then when I heard that Randolph-Macon was going co-ed, I kind of focused on that because it just looked like a good fit. It looked like a good campus, and I just liked it.
Were you looking for co-ed universities or colleges?
Not necessarily. I was really looking at more girls' schools, and but they were further away, and 3 and 4 hours away. And I just, at 18, I thought an hour and 45 minutes was far enough to be away in case we had emergencies, which my brother did, and it was wonderful that they were as close as they were to Ashland.
So, do you remember arriving to campus as a freshman?
I remember a little bit.
Do you remember before that they had to go down for that orientation?
I do not remember the June 26, 1971 orientation. I don't know why. I suspect I was there. I've got the copy of the paper, and I don't normally get the Richmond Times-Dispatch in Front Royal. So, but I really don't remember that, and I don't know why. But I remember, going in as a freshman and getting myself set up in Mary Branch and meeting the house mother, but I don't remember a lot of details. I don't remember my interview down there. It was obviously smooth, and 40 years, just a long time.
Do you remember having an orientation of any kind? So the girls getting together before started or anything?
I'm sure we did. I think there might have been some meetings in the middle part of Mary Branch with what's the lady's name?
B.J. Seymour?
Yeah, with Miss Seymour and the house mother.
Who was the house mother?
I don't remember her name. we didn't have to see much of her. We met curfew. You know, she was a nice lady, and she wasn't knocking on your door or anything like that. So it was if we had a problem, we needed to, I guess maybe we signed in and out. Maybe for a year. That probably was enough. So, but I spent 3 years in Mary Branch, and then as we were seniors, they were running out of dorm space for women, so they let the women move down to the married dorms and live down there for our last year, which that was nice to have 3 of us in a 2-bedroom little, apartment, and was more freedom, of course, but we didn't really care about that too much. We had all the freedom we wanted. But that was just nice to have a little space by then.
So you mentioned that you had to sign in and out, so I guess that was part of the curfew?
I think so. It seems to me for a little while we did.
What time was the curfew?
Maybe 1 o'clock on weekends. I don't know what time during the week. And then the doors were locked. And there were no keys, or there were no, the automatic swipe your card to come and go. I remember that once my roommate and I, one of us wanted to go mail a letter, and said the other one propped the door, hold the door for you. And somehow the door got locked, and these guys came up with stockings on their heads, and Becky and I, we screamed, and the men came flying to protect us. It was so touching, they liked their girls there. It was a nerve-wracking moment, so it was really tension, because it was probably midnight or 1. We were out, and we should have just waited till morning. But the guys just came flying. It was probably in September, so it was hot. So windows were open, because nobody had, we didn't have air conditioning in our dorm. You wanted a corner room so that you could have a good fan and be comfortable. But it was really cute. They were loyal to us, and it was very touching.
Do you remember anything about the visitation policies other than you going in and out, so male students?
Well, I think it was like midnight or 1, you had to be out on weekend nights, but our little security officer, and no cameras, and it was not strictly enforced. It was very lightly enforced, and I don't know that anybody really cared too much, as long as there were no issues. Nobody was getting in trouble or misbehaving or anything like that. So, and maybe during the week you weren't even supposed to be in each other's dorms. I don't remember, but they tried to, protect us a bit. But as long as everything was smooth, they turned their heads.
So, do you remember the protest that happened at the fountain?
I do. And then we went over to President White's house, and I can't remember what it was about, but I do remember the protest.
So it was a visitation. It was
about visitation. Okay.
Yeah. So
what's the current visitation now?
I mean, there's no such thing as visitation.
That's what I thought that it would probably be by now.
So, do you remember students organizing the protest or anything like that? Or do you just remember doing it?
I remember being involved, not as an organizer, and I don't have a clue who organized it. Do you?
Yeah.
I bet you'll find somebody who does. Pat Growell does it? I'll tell you another one that's going to give you a lot of information. Another woman is Donna Fricky Klepper. I'll bet her husband was in a fraternity, and that automatically puts you into knowing a lot more people if you're involved with a fraternity. And I'll bet she would have some information on that. But that's right, I remember it was visitation. So.
But you did assemble at the...
I think at the fountain, and then walked over to the President White's house, and then that was about it. Probably went back to our pot and our beer. So we've done enough for today. I mean, it was 1971, and that's what was happening. And it wasn't. You don't ever see violence with that. That's for sure. So I think that's why the security guard just kind of let you live and let live, and it was good.
So there was, on the topic of protest, I guess, there was do you remember the food fight that happened in the cafeteria?
I remember something about it, but I don't know that I was there at that time. But I do remember hearing about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that was about either. Do you?
It was a protest just to get better food, I guess.
Oh, to get better food.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
I thought it was too bad. Yeah. I don't know. But it's so different than colleges now. It was like going through the high school cafeteria. Well, that's all I'd had here. I didn't know that they had set up McDonald's. All these. When I took my son to college, it was like, wow, what you have now. So I didn't think it was all that bad, but I'm sure, you get bored. I think people have to do things from time to time to keep life interesting.
So, do you remember the cafeteria where you ate
Absolutely.
and what the atmosphere was like?
Oh, it was a cafeteria. It was just, a plain old basic picnic table style cafeteria. It was nothing fancy. Plain old brick building and tile floors, just like the high school cafeteria wherever, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's probably gone now. It's probably been raised, hasn't it?
It's now a weight room / laundry room.
Oh,
so.
oh, okay. Let's see, laundry. We had that in the basement, I think, of Mary Branch, along with an oven and a sink. I remember from time to time making a birthday cake for somebody downstairs. So I guess we had that there. And then I have a question, too. When I was there was, behind Mary Branch, if you faced it, on the right was a 3-story dorm, which is called, I don't remember.
It was New Dorm at the time when you were there, and now it's
Conrad, and then they had just built one on the left.
Oh, so I guess...
I think the one on the
I think
left.
it was Moreland.
Moreland and then New Dorm.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I think New Dorm was women, wasn't it?
On the first floor. I think the second year. I think the first year it was just Mary Branch.
Right, the first year it was. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so that was New Dorm, Moreland and New Dorm, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I would, next time I go that way, if the detour's not up, I will drive down Henry Street, I think.
Yeah.
And you'll see one of the reasons that detour is there right now is the Ira Andrews dorm.
That's what, I knew there was a new building going in.
You probably knew.
Yes, he and BJ Seymour, they were, they were big on campus. You saw them everywhere. So where's that dorm being built?
It's on. It's sort of near where the football field is. It is in the corner of Smith Street and Henry Street.
Is something been torn down to?
No, they moved the street over.
Oh.
There had been the Kappa Steakhouse, although.
Yeah, there was I guess, I don't know if it was Kappa State while you were there. And then there was a soccer field there too.
Oh yeah,
All right.
practice field.
So...
Now, how about the area beyond the school that was a community?
That's still there.
It's still there. Okay. The Randolph Macon hasn't been able to purchase that, or
So you were there though when the old gym was there, right?
We had the old gym.
And then it was torn down in '74 or something like that, or was it? While you were there? Was it torn down?
I don't recall that much going on. We had just gotten a new student union, and
Yeah.
that was the big deal.
Well, yeah, that had to get. I mean, the old gym had to get torn down
All
for the
right.
student union to be built.
Okay.
That was part of the.
All right.
I guess.
And see, I finished up in my junior year, and then left immediately for Europe, and I didn't go back down to school until January for colloquy. So
Yeah.
a lot was going on during that. So I don't know where had they built a new gym by then?
Well, the new gym, I guess is I guess they had already had. I guess the old gym, the other gym was there, and that's where the swimming pool and everything was
The
there.
racetrack.
And then,
Mm-hmm.
so what I'm talking about is the old gym, the really old gym, the one that had the scores painted on the
Yes.
side of it and everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was up where we had our mailboxes and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Now
then
that's still there, right?
no,
Yeah.
They did tear that down. That's the one they were tearing down. Yes, that's right.
In fact, our alumni are still totally mad about it.
Yeah, it was kind of sad
40
seeing.
years later. Still
Uh-huh.
passed.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Still seeing that old building go down. And then there was an old chapel or something up in there somewhere where we had art history class.
Mhm.
And I think that looked like it was all renovated.
It's completely renovated. That was maybe 6 years ago.
Okay.
7 years ago. It wasn't too long.
There's been
But that's still the art's not in there, but theater and
Mhm.
music are in there now. So it's still part of the art department. The art history classes are taught in PACE now,
all right.
which is the three buildings that make up the historic campus are Washburn, PACE, and Old Chapel.
That's right. Now, when I was there as a freshman, I remember a really worn out science building. And the new science building opened up probably my sophomore year.
Smithy would have been.
Yeah. So now that's old.
Yeah,
Is-
they're raising money right now to add an addition to it and completely renovate it. I guess
All right.
teaching, the way people teach science is very different now.
Mm-hmm.
And that space, the way it was built, it doesn't really accommodate for renovation, like the way the HVAC system or the wiring or so.
I'm
It
sure.
doesn't allow itself to be
Oh my
renovated.
gosh, there was just barely a computer class in 1971, and it was downstairs in that building. And I remember one of the gals was taking a computer class, and we thought, what is that? You know, I mean, it was just, we did math. All our math was slide rules, or just in our head, you know. We did not have a calculator. They were out, but they weren't a requirement, so since everybody didn't have one, they weren't allowed. And that was through the whole time I was there. So it really is a lot of,
So-
40 years. I mean, you think about what you've seen technologically, it's just mind-boggling. But that was a beautiful new science building, and had a great, the labs were great, and the area, the lecture hall was gorgeous, and so it was a big deal.
Yeah. What did you think of the campus center when you first saw it?
I thought it was beautiful. The student union, you mean?
Well, it's the campus center. They call it
They call it
campus
the
center.
Oh.
Campus Center now.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, I thought it was beautiful. I never became attached to it because I was just there after I'd been to study in Germany. Then I was just there for colloquy and
Yeah.
one semester, and by then I was living down in the married dorms with the girls were all down there, the senior girls, and I never had any use to go in there really. It was very nice, but I just
No.
didn't need it.
I was just curious because now, I mean, everyone says it has to be remodeled. It has to be torn down.
It's gonna
Everyone,
be remodeled.
everyone,
$5 million gift.
yeah.
The Bronx to.
Good.
So,
Well,
but it's just curious. I was just curious of how people thought it. That at the time.
oh, it was modern.
Yeah.
But now everybody needs all their wiring for everybody, electrical hookups every place you go, and of course, you can't function without all your stuff. So I can see why they think it could use a real remodel.
Yeah. So, kind of switching subjects. So, can you tell me about your social life? So, just what you did. What kind of activities you were involved in, or.
Well, our social life was really just our friends that we made, and I spent I was dating a guy down there for 2 years, and so I spent a lot of time down there. The rooms were suites, two rooms shared a bath, and the guy next door had a girlfriend, and so we had a fun social life down there. Yeah.
Where do you mean down there?
In one of the boys' dorms.
Oh, okay.
And then they were relaxing some rules too, and then the security guard was, as long as everybody's behaving, kind of cut it loose. So it was mostly friends. They would, by junior year, you could, even sophomore year, you could start consolidating and getting in dorms with friends. So that was kind of like a fraternity almost, down there. That's where we would have our weekend parties and things like that. And it was a good social life and good friends, and but not having a fraternity or anything, that was the fraternity. Or not having a sorority, I didn't date anybody in fraternity is what I should say. Not having a sorority. So that's, because we didn't go into Richmond or we stayed on campus and just enjoyed each other's company and bluegrass music and partying. So it was good. I didn't know any different, I went to a couple fraternity parties and, the bathtubs of green alcohol and things like that. And they were fun. They were good. I just, never dated anybody that was in one, so I didn't get involved. If I had been dating somebody, I would have been. But we had a real good time. And then activities, I think by my junior or senior year there was a tennis team, a women's tennis team, and I didn't play on it, but I'd go over and practice with them. And that was about it of, scheduled activities. There was plenty to do and didn't need a lot of activities by the time. You had your weekend, your ball games and your basketball games. In fact, a guy I went to school with here, Warren County High, graduated the same year I did, and Mike Love, and he was down there on a full basketball scholarship. So, you would hit all the games because it was fun and it was interesting, and you wanted to see your friends playing. So that was pretty much our social life, and it was good.
Do you remember Hampton-Sydney games? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I never went down to Hampton-Sydney 2-1, so the ones that I don't think we had a winning season against Hampton-Sydney. And I knew the one person that was down there, but of course the stadium, the seating was so different. I had a glance at that the other day when I drove through, and it was, I think, looks like the stadium has really been redone and had a lot more seating. And, it looks a lot more. Yeah, press box. It looked pretty much like, I think maybe the one we had locally in Front Royal was bigger and better than Randolph-Macon's because we had a whole stadium here that, the Bing Crosby Stadium is what it's called. So
Bing Crosby from Front Royal?
He premiered a movie here back in the 40s.
Because of that, he got a stadium named for it?
It raised money for the stadium.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. That's right. He premiered a movie here in, I believe, the early 40s. Late 40s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because my parents said they went. So, but it doesn't make any difference. So games were fun. It was all fun.
Did you guys tailgate?
Not so much. No. No, we went to the cafeteria 3 meals a day.
Back to the cafeteria.
Back to the cafeteria.
Did the girls dress up for the football games while you were there?
No, it went. I mean, I didn't. Maybe some did, but pretty much once we got that freedom that we could wear blue jeans. My gosh, I had never had a pair of blue jeans. I couldn't wear them. I wasn't allowed to wear anything like that to high school, and and so once we found our blue jeans, man, we were happy clams. I had to borrow a dress to wear under my gown for graduation. Isn't that terrible? So no, we were the blue jean era. We liked it.
Do you remember Camptown races?
Yes, that was exciting. I only went 1 year, and still now sometimes when I go down to the Tidewater area, I'll go down Route 30 and go by that farm and everything.
What were they like?
I only went 1 year, as I recall, but it was just a big party. It was just really exciting, and the grounds were beautiful, and everybody, packed your own everything, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know if they still have them. I don't think they do.
No.
I think that ended probably pretty soon after I was there.
Well, yeah, I think that the actual horse races ended like in the mid-70s.
Yeah, right after you.
Okay.
And then they continued the parties until the 80s, but they're.
Yeah, and see, in our area we have all the point-to-point races and things like that, which I had been to some of those through the years, and they're those were just fun days.
Days well spent.
Yes, yeah. So I probably only went my senior year, but maybe not. I'm not sure.
Do you remember homecoming?
No.
when you read? So you don't remember? Okay, because the first year, Becky Firth was homecoming queen, but the deal is that I remember reading an article in the paper. I don't know if you remember this sentiment, but it was kind of the girls on the outside, of Randolph-Macon, the other students from Mayor Washington or wherever, the fraternities found their girlfriends. And then, the girls at Randolph-Macon were competing against each other. I don't know if you remember that at all.
Oh, I think people probably tried to make something of it. But, if you've only got 50 women there and 850 men, they're going to be rolling in from other schools. There's no doubt about it. But I suspect there was enough social life for the women that were at Randolph-Macon if they wanted. I mean, maybe some of them didn't have an interest in dating or something like that. I don't know. But I do remember something about that. But it made total sense because there just weren't. They wanted dates. They wanted girls around, and they had West Hampton and Mary Washington, and all these schools are close by, and they're girls' schools. So it was what they did.
But in terms of homecoming, I guess you don't remember voting or anything like that for.
I may have. I don't remember.
Sorry.
Becky and I can't remember Bob. I think that's who she dated. Somebody down. I'm not even sure if he was a student at RMC. He might have been a student in Richmond.
I think he might have been a student at William Mary. That could be the reason.
And that's why she moved down there.
I don't know.
I'll bet you. Yeah, I'll bet so. Who was the homecoming king?
I've forgotten since just knew the woman.
I'm sure I voted. I would participate in those things.
Yeah.
And I always liked Becky. She was a down-to-earth, solid person.
I mean, do you feel that you would have been offended if a girl from another school had one homecoming queen other than a Randolph-Macon student that year?
I doubt it. I mean, if it had been, it would be somebody that's been coming down there for 3 or 4 years, dating somebody, and they've gotten to know her. And I'm not that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I don't need to be that competitive or worried about those things. It would not have been a big deal to me.
Okay. So can you describe the people, or maybe, not just give me the names, but some of the people you were close to, and maybe, how you met them, and maybe those kind of things, like what they were involved in, the same thing?
I really met most of them at the, I think at dinner, in the dining hall. I think it's kind of, people would sit around and talk. You could smoke and drink a cup of coffee and just have a wonderful time. And you meet, people through people. But I remember mostly striking up conversations, meeting people there. And then after you got to know them, then they had their network of friends, and you had your network of friends, and you meld things just kind of like a normal.
So who were the people you were close to?
Well, let's see. Donna Klepper she was probably one of my best friends. Becky left. Becky Baker left. Susie Sarver left. And then there was a girl, Jane Raines, that was a year behind me. We were good friends. I remember going down to her house once in Tappahannock and going to Florida once over a spring break after school or something. And then the guys, they were ones I was asking you about. Craig Knuckles, I dated him for a couple years. He was a nice guy. I think he's an administrator at in a hospital in Texas or something. And he graduated from there. And then his suite mate was Doug Steiger, and I don't have a clue about him or where he ended up. I'll need to dig a little bit. It'd be fun to see some of these people. But I don't think they were coming down to our homecoming last year. I kind of kept an eye on that. And then there were a lot of people down in those dorms that I just couldn't come up with their names anymore.
Yeah. Well, so not just names, but so were they basically people that lived in the same dorm as you? Is that?
Yeah, or down there in those dorms. Just how you make your little social network. I didn't know a lot of people. I did not know a whole lot of people. I knew a lot fewer than probably most of the students. I don't know why, but it's the way it was, and it worked. So I was content.
So who were your roommates? Do you remember your freshman roommate?
I had my freshman roommate and I, we didn't stay with roommates real long. Somebody evidently left, and I was able to move out maybe a semester. And, they just place you. And I don't know how I guess they just drew straws, I don't know. And then the next year, Becky Baker and I roomed together, and she didn't stay. And then the third year, Donna and I roomed together. And then the fourth year, it was Beth Bull, Donna, Fricky, and I in one of the married apartments. And I was not there the first semester. And Donna was finishing up after colloquy. And she was actually getting married. So we had a month that the three of us were there. And then Donna was finished, and I was just starting my last semester. So that worked out beautifully. And we had a good time down there. It was nice to have girls next door. And, it was a social life probably with a lot more girls than including the guys then. So we had a good time. I can't remember a gal from New Jersey she was a lot of fun. And in fact, that's who I borrowed the dress from to wear under my graduation gown. Yeah.
So you were a German major while you were at Randolph-Macon?
I was.
Did you come in thinking you were going to be a German major?
I think it was just a process of elimination. Math was the other that I was interested in. And probably I should have done that, but high math gets pretty complicated. I was comfortable with German. I liked the department. I liked the professors. The classes were tiny, and but it was definitely a process of elimination.
So, what other things did you have in mind other than math? Is it just because you didn't want to do math and you did German, or what do you mean?
Well, I took a lot of math classes, but I really don't know why. I wasn't looking. My parents weren't pushing. Get something that you can get a good job in. It was a liberal arts school. While you don't know what you're doing, go to school. That was their attitude. So, because I've thought back on that a lot. If they had pushed maybe and said, hey, look, you need to do something that you can get a good job. What's German going to do for you? Look at what math's going to do. I may have done something else, but they never put pressure on me to make straight A's. I made Dean's List once, and so it was just why you don't know what you want to do. Be in college and then graduate, and what I would write on resumes and things is that my liberal arts degree really just kind of shows that I'm educable. You can train me to do whatever this job entails, but that's kind of the way I always felt about it, and I've always been glad I had it. So and I've thought about that a fair amount through the years, because it was, you see what people are coming out and doing now. And I can't remember what Donna degree she graduated with. It might have been psychology, but she's I think she's over at UVA. I think she's done real well with her career. And I've been happy here. We've got two small businesses, and it's just nice to know that I do have a college degree. It feels good, and you gain some maturity from it.
Who's your advisor while you were at Randolph?
Professor Noe. I probably had one earlier than as a freshman, and I don't remember who it was.
So what was Professor Noe like?
Oh, he was a good man, and he's the one that got me inspired to go to Institute for a semester of school, and was sure that it would meet my requirements for hours and classes and things like that. And if he hadn't pushed a little bit, he had to bring it up to me, and so I was indebted to him for that, because it was a wonderful way to do a semester of school. So I liked him a lot. I liked the whole department.
Was it something that set the department apart from other? What aspects of the professors? So he's a wonderful guy, but
well, just since I ended up with German, then it was normal to have an advisor in that department, and I don't know what else to say.
So did you enjoy your time in Germany? What
Yes.
exactly did you?
Had a wonderful time. They would put us up in boarding houses, and so it was a lot of people. Those were segregated, so it was girls, 8 or 10, 12 girls, and the one, and then there were a lot of Turkish guest arbeiters, is what they called them, in the boarding house. They were kind of funky, but we all had a real good time together, and learned a lot of German, I felt, and then to get to, just take the train 20 minutes and you were in Salzburg, or 30 minutes and you were in Munich, and the friends wanted to do that, so we did a lot just from our headquarters where we were, and then down in the Black Forest, in a 30-minute train ride had you into Switzerland, and we would do it often and enjoy it. So got to do a lot of exploring just from our headquarters there, at the where we had our housing and our meals and things like that, and the classes were good. And they were very international. A lot of Japanese, as I recall, and just international. And so it was fun to make friends from all over. So I enjoyed my time there.
Do you remember any other classes that you felt were really good classes, or that were influential in your experience?
I had a nutrition colloquy, and he was the chemistry professor with a nice little goatee, gray, and he was good. And that was one of my favorite classes, and I made a D in it. But I learned a lot, I just didn't want to learn as much as he thought I should. It was really a good class. And the philosophy of education was probably the worst class I had, and just because the man didn't know how to teach.
The irony, right?
Yes, the irony. And he was also on the State Board of Education, so it really made it interesting. And then I thoroughly enjoyed all my math classes. I'm trying to think of one of the I can't think of his name that I took 3 or 4 from.
Did you have Mr. Offenbacher? Do you remember him?
What did he teach?
Math.
I think maybe I did. He was probably pretty young then. No, it might have been was somebody else. See, unfortunately, I believe when I made a big move when the children were, after 15 years in the family house, and I think all the annuals disappeared. So unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to go back and look. But I may have had him.
Or Professor Moore, maybe?
I just would have to look. I just don't have a clue.
Yeah.
And I, would have done my homework if I had had my annuals. Well, because it was fun, And then you remember so much more when you do look back and see them. See what's going on.
Were there any other professors kind of in your experience, or other people on campus that you felt were influential? That might have helped you along the way.
Professor Gray, he was English. He did freshman English. I was lucky enough to get him. And he was, he would look at us and he would say, had an English accent. He was a very good professor. And he would say, "You all are so," I don't know exactly, I can't find my word exactly, but you're just so aloof. If you were told that God would be speaking at the Blackwell Auditorium on 7 o'clock on Saturday night, you would be saying, "What is his topic?" He was, I liked him a lot. And an awful lot of the others are a blur. 40 years.
Yeah.
So, what did you do after graduation?
Well, my sister was just finishing high school, so we moved to Sarasota, Florida. She was going to the Ringling School of Art, and I had a job in a bank. And after about a year, no, actually it might have just been a semester, she decided she missed her mountains and wanted to come back to VCU. And I had started dating somebody in Front Royal, so I was happy to come back to Front Royal. So I did that, and then worked for Boise Cascade over in Berryville, Virginia, in their kitchen cabinet division and customer service, and enjoyed that a lot. And then a couple years later, the guy I had been dating, we got married, and actually moved to Indonesia for 2 years.
Oh.
He was in the restaurant business, and he was doing a restaurant over there. And our daughter was born there in 1980. So that was quite a good experience, and one that we thoroughly enjoyed. And then back to Front Royal, and then out to, we lived in Los Angeles for a couple years after our second child was born. And that was delightful because for 2 years I did not have to scrape frost off of a windshield or snow with 2 babies. So. And he was also doing a restaurant out there, so that was a real, we had a real good time. And then when that project finished, we just came on back to Front Royal and have been here since the mid-'80s. And it's been fine because the business here needed us badly, and we've worked that hard. And now have a little bit of freedom from it, so because our son's here. Yeah, he did all his education and wanted to come back and work with his father. So that's it's wonderful.
Either of your children look at Randolph-Macon?
No, my daughter delayed school, and she was actually in the restaurant business early on, right after high school, and during high school some, and she ended up going to Johnson and Wales University in hospitality management and graduated from that in Charleston, South Carolina. And then our son went to Christ Church Episcopal School on the Northern Neck for prep school, and then I thought he should, and he thought so too, he was good with it. He got a nice scholarship up to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in upstate New York.
Sure, that's actually where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
My mom teaches at Union College.
Oh, really? And when he graduated in, 05, Hillary Rodham Clinton was their speaker.
Mm-hmm.
She was a senator at that point in time. So, and he needed to go north, and he loves this winter sports, and he was down there on the river for a long time, and got those summer sports, and so it was real good.
I hope he plays hockey if he went to RPI.
No, he didn't, but he enjoyed the hockey games. He liked to go snowboarding.
The guy who's the head football coach at RPI right now is a Randolph-Macon graduate.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Tim
that would be
Landis, I
interesting.
think his name is.
He wanted to play football, but he said I can't. He said RPS too hard, and he graduated with like a 3.0. Something. He did a good job, but he knew he couldn't take on anything else. It was just too hard. So, that's really interesting that he graduated from Randolph-Macon.
Yeah.
It is a small world.
He had been an assistant coach at UC San Jose, I guess. And I was meeting with him, and he said, "Oh, I've got this job at this school, terrific school up in upstate New York, RPI. Have you ever heard of it?" So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, of course, who hasn't heard
Out
of
there.
it? But two,
Down here,
yes,
nobody had heard of it.
Really?
No, and he was the prep school's top math and science student for that year, and Rensselaer offered him a nice scholarship.
It's a great school.
Yes, it's a great school. I wasn't there but a couple times, and I think I missed adult orientation, my husband and I, because we went to Saratoga Springs. Couldn't turn that down, But,
in August.
Oh yeah, see, it was
Probably
their
Travelers
orientation.
right then.
Yes, it's a beautiful area.
It is. It's gorgeous.
Mhm.
Troy's pretty too. I mean, it's obviously a little bit run down, but
Yes.
like Emma Willard's so pretty, Rensselaer's so pretty,
Mhm.
RPI's so pretty.
Hmm. And I see how he had a car. I was only up there about 3 times because you don't need to go.
So,
Back to Randolph.
yeah, how have you stayed in contact with the college since then throughout your life
I guess the
there?
main thing is the alumni bulletins that get put out. The whole college bulletins, and through the years I've donated a little money, but not much. But I love to get the magazines, and that has been the only way I've stayed in touch. A couple, now we get emails from Mike Carter, I guess, and things, but that's really been the only way that I've stayed in touch with them. Because I haven't stayed in touch with any of my classmates. You had your separate ways, and it's terrible. You do for a few years, and then life changes, and it's. hard to keep up. I haven't with my high school class much either, and we're having that 40th reunion next month. So it's going to be fun to, see all those people. I said, don't forget the name tags.
Yeah, exactly. So, kind of done with the other questions, but do you remember if the boys would sit on the stoop at Mary Branch? Remember that while you were there, your freshman year?
Maybe so. Maybe at first a little bit, but I don't remember a whole lot.
Okay.
I'm vague. That's terrible. You could probably gotten more information interviewing my sister, and she only came down a few times to visit me. It's really bad, that I don't remember more. But probably if I came down and did a walk-in tour, that would be.
Jog your memory.
Yeah, and like I said, the next time I go down to the Tidewater area, I'm going to drive through and see if I can bring back some more memories. Because it was a fun time. It was a good school, and it was just, everything was smooth. I don't have a single bad memory from there. My first semester roommate wasn't too great, but that got solved real fast, But it was just a wonderful place to be, and just easy little town to be in, and I loved it. I was very happy there.
If there were an entering freshman coming into Randolph-Macon, this is a question we've asked all the women. If there was an entering freshman coming in this upcoming year, what advice would you give them for their 4 years at Randolph-Macon?
Well, make friends and get involved. Be a part of it, because if you sit back and just watch it all happen in front of you, it's going to be boring, and it just won't be a good experience. But get involved and enjoy all the aspects of the school, because they have so much to offer. And they'll really, I suspect, would really enjoy it. It's a good school, but they don't break your back academically. Well, I'm sure in the sciences and stuff. And it's a whole other ballgame, because so many go on to MCB and things like that. But just get involved and enjoy it. Because after that, it's the real world.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you felt like was important that maybe we haven't touched on? That was
No, I feel like you've jogged my memory. Having sent these questions up in advance, that was a big help, and I think we've gone through about everything I can remember of it.
all right. Well, thanks for your help. It's been great.
Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.